Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again, and welcome to The Roads with Belle. Today is December 29th, 2024, and this is episode 71 of The Roads Not Taken, which is a weekly series where we go over the news that was unreported, underreported, didn't get the coverage we felt that it should, or we just found it interesting. And then we go over a few questions from y'all. And this week, by request, we'll be adding an economics section. And today is December 29th, and it's Still Need to Do Day or TikTok Day. Days designed to remind you that the year isn't over if you have things to do. And on this date in 1835, the Treaty of New Echota was signed. It was not approved by the Cherokee National Council and was not signed by the principal chief. But the United States nevertheless used it as the justification for the removal of the Cherokee. The unapproved, unsigned treaty was the basis for the Trail of Tears. And starting with foreign policy, Panama's president dismissed Trump's claim about Chinese troops in the canal as, quote, nonsense. China has launched the world's largest amphibious assault ship. It's both a ship for amphibious landings and has elements of an aircraft carrier. It's designed to project Chinese naval power around the world. However, there is a lot of debate about having a ship of this size without the advanced air defense systems that so far China hasn't demonstrated it possesses. Trump has urged Wayne Gretzky to run for Prime Minister in Canada. For some reason. Guatemala has expressed some openness to accepting people deported from the U.S., even if they aren't from Guatemala. This is probably a play to get on Trump's good side. And honestly, it'll probably work. Another telecom was hit by what U.S. officials are saying is a sprawling espionage campaign by the Chinese. In U.S. news, Marianne Williamson has thrown her hat into the ring for leader of the DNC. Democrats are vowing not to save Johnson's speakership. The internal split between MAGA factions is growing. The split exists between those on the tech billionaire side of MAGA and the rest of MAGA. It continues to flare, but the lines have the Steve Bannon faction on the same side as the Nikki Haley faction, just as an example of how weird it has gotten. A U.S. State Department office tasked with countering foreign disinformation operations has shut down due to a lack of funding. A court has ruled that Georgia Republicans can subpoena Willis about her case against Trump. Democratic strategists are offering the ideas of embracing younger leadership and going left instead of to center on policy. We'll see what the Democratic Party does with the advice. In cultural news, a Colorado man was arrested after allegedly attacking a reporter. According to reporting, the man said, quote, "This is Trump's America now," and demanded to see his identification. A lot of statistics at polling suggest that Americans are tuning out from politics. We got a lot of questions about this. It happens after every election, and the tune out is normally most prominent in the party that lost. In science news, the CDC has noted the first severe case of bird flu in the U.S. in a person. They noted a mutation they believed helped it stay in the upper airway. CDC says the risk to the public is still low, but the mutations are cause for concern. While Trump's "Drill Baby Drill" motto may not matter much for oil, it seems likely that natural gas will get a big boost. In economic news, a major port strike is set to resume on January 16th. It could cause a lot of supply chain disruptions and have downstream effects on the economy. Some experts are suggesting Trump's strategy for countering China will rely heavily on hurting the Russian economy to limit Chinese-Russian trade. In Oddities, Meta reportedly plans on having AI characters on their platforms to drive engagement. On to the Q&A. I get what you're saying about stock market commentators saying one thing and political analysts saying another, as far as how the market is going to do. But why is there such a divergence between the stock market commentators? Some are saying the year is going to be great. Others are forecasting doom. Bulls and bears. So, some people are more risk averse, so they're forecasting doom and gloom to kind of stay safe. But they're always there. They always do that. With the current situation, you have two big things at play. One, they're all trying to figure out which of Trump's policies he's going to implement. Because if he walks away from the tariffs, then things could go good for a while. But then you also have them looking at that timing. So depending on which policies he enacts and how long it takes to enact them will also depend on how long it takes for the market to go down. So let me rephrase. A few think that it's going to go bad relatively soon. Some think it's going to be just fine. And then a few look at it's going to be okay for 25, but 26 is probably going to take a downturn. And all of it depends on how soon he implements these policies and what he implements. Again, those that are more aggressive are going to be looking at 2025 saying it's going to be great, everything's good, and because it's the new year, they're putting, that emphasis and positivity behind it. But a lot of people just think this could be the calm before the storm and are giving it about 18 months. So in 2026 or the beginning of 2026 is when they're getting a little more worried about. Maybe you and your followers can answer a question for me. Why do so many Christians, even when told that I am not Christian, refuse to acknowledge that I do not celebrate Christmas? Are they threatened by beliefs different than their own? I try to respect others' beliefs. Why can I not receive the same respect in return? Well, some people are just pushy, but there's also another thing at play. In the U.S., Christmas isn't just a Christian holiday. It's also a capitalist one. It's just a common part of the culture. There are tons of people who are not practicing Christians or Christian at all that participate and celebrate Christmas. And then there's a lot of assumption that everybody celebrates Christmas in some way or another. Which isn't a great assumption, but that's just what people do. My advice would be maybe don't say I'm not Christian, just I don't celebrate Christmas. I mean, they'll probably continue to ask, or ask why you don't celebrate the holiday. But I mean, that's kind of the best you can do, and then maybe explain. Hopefully people in the comments section do have some more advice, but I get what you're saying, and I'm sorry. Nobody should have to justify themselves to anybody else. So that looks like it. A little more information and a little more context, and having the right information will make all the difference. Y'all have a good day.